Let me know when you're ready. Look at him. I'm just going. I know. See, that's why he's our IT person. Where's your t-shirt? Look, where's your t-shirt on? But one thing I've noticed, and we need to talk about this, and I want to see rules moving forward on anything, is the homeless population. Since I've been here, I'm going, hey, it's hot. They're on the ground. Why are they on the ground? Why we don't have any cooling stations or cooling locations? Do we have them? Do we need more? How can we get the government to do it? I already went up to UG. It was like, hey, which one of y'all need to talk to? Because we can't have our homeless, and there are some solutions. So is anybody working on homelessness in the room? Anyone?
I'm not, but I want to figure out who to connect with, because it's something that's very important to me as someone who has experienced homelessness in all the seasons. So,
Okay. And nobody has to be working on it, but we do need to be figuring something out.
Well, I just know that I go to Neighbors Alliance meetings, and they have 3 different policies that they're pushing the UG to take on to improve the houseless situation,
And who
including
did you
shelters.
say that was?
Neighbors Alliance.
Neighbors Alliance.
KCK Neighbors Alliance.
Churches United for Justice, just had a big meeting about 2 months ago where I think they got $2 million, confirmed from the UG that they were gonna work on a homeless facility. Had about 400 people in a space. And they put pressure on the commissioner. They made them say yes.
That's what they do.
So, and that's Churches United for Justice.
I know from Mount Carmel, redevelopment center is also within that space.
And we'll write that down, we'll get that up there, but I'm gonna go ahead and let Rich have his time now.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ms. Gay. Thank you to the QPAD and everyone. Appreciate you guys giving me the time. My name's Rich Chung, dash in between, produce matrix, emerging technology, and also agriculture. One of the things that got me into the space, without me going too far into my background, played professional football overseas for a couple years in Europe, and then was always a video game kid, which is my connection to the technology space. A lot of kids nowadays, they play Fortnite in all these different spaces. A lot of parents don't really understand that this is really the new medium that a lot of them are coming into. A lot of job opportunity. I've had a lot of conversations to talk about how game design is correlating to things like architecture, engineering, and things like that. But then now when it comes to, when we talk about, for instance, the new stadium, how many of us in here have all heard about the new Kansas City Chiefs Stadium and seen the renderings? They pay a lot of money to these companies to do these renderings. So my question is, the tools like AI and whatnot, why can't we have kids build out the projects that we're talking about here in QPAD? Because for me, again, no offense to the meetups and things like that, we talk about a lot of things, but we don't, not to say we don't do these things. We talk, and then it's a long gap in time between action. And so for me, being able to use things like the metaverse, how many people have heard about the metaverse before? And if you haven't, raise your hand if you haven't, need a brief explanation. Long story short, everybody has heard of The Sims before? So The Sims is basically a virtual reality where you can basically simulate life. So in that same concept, the metaverse is just a space where you're basically taking digital renderings and you're making them walkable. So for in this case, and I'll show here, is that how could we be able to talk about the things that we're talking about in the QPAD and be able to make it to where somebody could be able to walk through it? How could somebody be able to use AI and AI avatars and be able to talk to Ms. Cade, Boston Daniels team? Because now it's just skin and bones that we're just having them talk to. So for a lot of people, it's being able to showcase these things but make them engaging. So now when you talk to the youth about QPAD, you don't have to talk to them. Just send them to something like this and then they walk through it themselves. Most of these things, these tools, you don't have to really explain it to them. They'll get in there and they'll figure it out on their own. One of the things that I always talk about when it comes to technology right now, I always tell the story about, we got a young one at home. I say young one, she's 11 going on 12 now, so she'll probably hate that I'm saying that. But I'm the person who's supposed to be the expert in AI. One of the times she was in the kitchen, she had her phone in her hand, and I'm seeing her in the fridge, and she's just like typing, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm just asking ChatGPT to put together some ideas on what I can use for leftovers to make a meal. I've been in this AI space since a couple years ago for like 2-3 years. Not once have I stepped into the kitchen and used a phone because of the fact that my expert bias only tells me to use it in a work setting. So the thing is that for us, we have to be able to understand that these kids are so much ingrained in this stuff that you don't have to tell a 2-year-old how to save videos on YouTube. They can find Miss Rachel on their own. So sometimes I think that, again, coming from the youth side of things, some of the solutions and the things that we talk about is kind of removed from the kids, because we say that they don't want to work. They just don't want to do the things that didn't work for us, for the older generation. When you can tell a kid that sees their age mate or somebody close to them making millions of dollars on YouTube opening toys, how are you going to tell me to go to sport? NIL is something in sports space that I'm envious of. We have young kids signing 6-figure deals. But because of the fact that financial literacy isn't talked about in the home, what's the first thing they do? I'm gonna buy my mom a house. I'm gonna buy a car, buy a wristwatch. Not understanding that, how can I be able to come into my community and become the LeBron James and be able to say, hey, you know what? My favorite chicken spot, sponsor. When I score a touchdown, I show up with it on my shirt. Those are the kind of conversations that we need to have with the youth, because for us, it's not that they don't want to work, they just don't want to do the old ways. And so for us, again, like I said, one of the things that, my partner back there, Cerise Hall, we hit the ground running. You can ask for permission, you can have these conversations, or you can just do it. World Cup came and went. One of the things that we talked about was like, how do we get people involved? What we start doing? We just started doing it. We had a tournament a couple weeks ago, over 200 kids, 17 teams. Nobody told us that we could do it. We didn't ask for permission or anything of the sort, we just started doing it. Next minute, Mayor Q's out there. We didn't ask for permission. So a lot of the things that we're talking about today, solution-wise and whatnot, and I'll get more into this, but I just wanted to kind of just chime in, is that we don't really need permission from anybody, if I'm gonna be honest. This is why I love technology, is because now with AI, things that I could have got, that most people would have gate kept away from me, I can ask this. Simple. You want expertise in law or math, or right here. You can go and ask these things. And that's what we have to understand, is that technology now has become an equalizer. Yes, it's gatekept by certain people, but at the end of the day, if I know the URL, I can type it in on my phone, on my laptop, anywhere, any place. And so really with all this stuff, to kind of come back to the project, is with QPAD, we're talking about a lot of revitalization. But it's hard to get people to kind of see and understand it. So with this metaverse space, make sure I can get into here. How could somebody be able to get a user and be able to see the buildings and the build out of what you guys are looking to put into the space? So now you can be able to go to different locations inside of the city. So this is how people would travel through QPAD. People walking around. So now these could be NPCs. So anybody know what an NPC is? Non-playable character. In this case now it's basically AI. So in this case, that person that's walking on the street, let's say it's Ms. Daniels. I walk up to Ms. Daniels and I say, tell me about Boston Daniels Project. What is it? Ms. Daniels isn't there, but our AI representation talks about it. Tide in the data center space. How can we have a digital representation of Tide to talk about the benefits in that space? Right? All we're simply doing is, how can we be able to make it accessible for somebody that's not only just here, but in a whole nother country? The internet is a global space. It's a global playground. The metaverse can just be able to speed up that process. And how can you go to investors and be able to showcase to them, hey, we have an idea for a $2 billion idea. You could wait to try and get the $2 billion, or you could build out something that showcases what you guys are trying to do and make it walkable to give somebody the understanding of, this is how the walk from the park to the school would feel like. This is how a sidewalk, heritage trail, this is how it will look like and feel when we add the lights and all the different type of things that we want to do. Most of the things that we're talking about from a large scale takes a lot of capital. And capital in this community, this is why I got so much interested into the whole Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space, it's community capital. At the end of the day, the currency of the community is what makes people move. Because right now, traditional finance is your worst enemy. I'm going to be honest. I was somebody that was defunded by my bank. Basically, long story short, my bank closed my bank account, no rhyme or reason, middle of the night. That's it. Major bank. I don't know if I'm being on a recording, but US bank. Closed my bank account overnight. This is my business account. I still gotta pay bills. This is a couple years ago during the holidays. So now, they closed my bank account, they sent my check to the wrong address, and basically the whole month of December, I had to basically figure out how I'm gonna get gifts, take care of all the things I need to do. They didn't care. The only thing that I had at that time, Bitcoin. Because it's money that I fully hold and understand. So now, education is another piece, because most of what I just said probably just went over most people's heads. But it's just currency that you have access to. And so when you hear things like cryptocurrency, it's just the community that use their dollars, no different from if Black Wall Street back in the day said, hey, you know what, we don't want dollars in here, we're gonna use this currency. How can you create a currency inside of the Quindaro that somebody can be able to go from place to place and be able to redeem those things? Hey, I came out and I helped QPAD, this is my currency, no different from a voucher. I can go and redeem it at these set businesses. These are things that you can be able to showcase inside this digital twin. A lot of times you'll hear digital twins, digital twins, digital twins, digital renderings. Again, populists, again, I don't want to misquote, they get paid a pretty penny to give you drawings. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't walk it, you can't talk to it. What I want to do is with these kind of projects that we always want to try to showcase and get outside investment, is how can somebody just walk into it? How can you be able to take something like this and put it directly into Fortnite? We have some Fortnite games that we came out with as well too. How can the QPAD be in a Fortnite game to where now we can be able to tell the history of Quindaro in a whole different way that people look at, oh, I didn't know that about Quindaro. How many people around here get told something new about Quindaro that they never knew? And a lot of people have lived here. Again, when I got told, again, the history, my family's from Cameroon, Africa, so I didn't really know the history of KCK. But when I got told the stuff about the Quindaro ruins and how people had to cross the river to come over here and all this other stuff, the first thing I thought is, we need to be able to walk through that. Because now when I tell somebody the history, I can either tell you or I can show you. Or you can walk through it on your own. Because what would be more powerful than you having to sneak through at nighttime, cross the Quindaro ruins, finding safe haven and understanding the process of what they really went through. Because now we're in a space that we don't have to talk about it anymore. Go experience it yourself. Now you're moving into spaces of virtual reality, augmented reality, and those different type of things. So I'll showcase, because I know I've kind of done a little more talking than kind of showing stuff. If anybody has any questions as well too, you guys are free to ask any questions that you may have as well too. So over here you have different, what we call in this space called the Digizen. The Digizen is basically a digital replica of any person that would want to be created in the space. So, if you can think of a historical person, let's say Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Boston Daniels, in this case, how can you be able to take those things and then now you just train each one of them, and then you just be able to come in here and have a conversation with them? It's as simple as you can talk to them. The typing, so let's see. So I'll press enter to type. Tell me about this city. So hopefully technology works, because you know how technology is when you try to do demos. But right now you don't have the sound connected, but you would basically get all the information that you would need.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this going to be something that people would have to come to get, or would it be accessible, like if somebody went to a library or something?
It would be accessible simply through, you can do QR codes, so you can put little posters around the city, they would scan it, they could be able to get it onto their phone. You You could have it to where there's just a link. Anybody that has access to the link, they'd be able to just type it in and make it accessible. That's the main reason why the digital space is that how can it be accessible to somebody not only in Wyandotte, but maybe somebody's visiting. We just had the World Cup here. One of my visions at the time, again, so we were talking about this forever ago. My vision is we need a digital version of Kansas City. How can somebody learn about not only just the FIFA Fan Fest, but everything that's surrounding it? And then now if I can walk through it digitally on my phone or something of the sort, now I'm more inclined to actually go to the space and go visit it. I just went, like I said, I just went to the overlook of the Quindera ruins for the first time. I'm like, man, this is beautiful. But most people don't know it until they see it. So hopefully that answers your question on accessibility. And that's the big thing. Most people have a mobile phone, and most people have some type of access to the internet.
And what would draw them to it?
So that's where, like I said, having community events like this, to where now it's just, again, hey, we'll just talk about it, this is what we're doing in the space. Again, now too, you have the ability of, it just really depends on how you want to use it. Some people are using this for, there's some projects that are using this for investment. So renewable energy, they'll say, okay, hey, we're doing a data center, right? I can show you what it's gonna look like, walk you through it, and then also educate you on the practice. I wanna do a daycare center. Homeless shelter was something that was just brought up, right? How do you put together a homeless shelter and say, this is what it would look like, this is how it feels, this is how many stories look up. Now we can get community conversation to say, you know what, 3 stories looks kind of weird. Doesn't make sense. How can somebody be able to have that input with actually seeing it compared to, this is what is just being pitched to you? Does that make sense?
So are you presenting this as a project that could be upcoming or just an opportunity that people can take advantage of?
Twofold. Talking with QPAD because of the fact that they want to.
I asked him, is he presenting a project that's up and coming or just a tool that everybody could adopt and apply to their own program?
So this is the Omniverse City, which is a project that I'm currently partnered with that is already up and running. They have the ability for you to either come into these small cities or create your own instance in this case. With the QPAD or any project in here, you can basically come along and say, this is what I want to do. It'll basically build that out for you according to what you want to do, depending on the complexity, depends on the cost. But more or less, it's open to anybody that wants to do this. This is one of the things, initiative-wise, that we wanted to bring into the space. Because again, when it comes to a lot of resources and things like revitalization, you're talking millions of dollars. Especially in this community, it's hard to come by. Whereas now, how can I be able to give this to an investor or walk them through it a lot easier to say, hey, if you give us $25 million, this is what we plan to do with it. Because if I'm gonna be honest, and again, I'm not usually in those rooms, they're not getting anything as immersive as these things. Most of them are just getting, hey, this is gonna be a YouTube video of a 3D rendering, and we're gonna walk you through it. And they get $25 million. Me, I think that's crazy, but that's just because I'm also kind of biased because I'm a video game kid. I'm like, I think GTA, this is a full scale city. Why don't we have a rendering of Kansas City, both past and present? Now you can be able to showcase those things and educate as well too.
Is there an educational component to this? Because
That's why I was very speaking on.
the next thing that I hear, and I fully believe that all of us should be trying to go here.
Yeah.
I fully believe that we should try to be on the front end of these precipices as opposed to always coming back 10 years after, right?
Yeah.
However, no buts, because buts means I'm negating all of that before. However, how are we going to educate 90% of our communities that really only know how to use computers with emails,
Yep.
with Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, that have no idea around how this type of mechanism works?
Yeah.
How to engage in it properly. I mean, I think that's some of the things that we miss when we're talking about this, that we're not thinking about the steps we need to get here.
Yeah. The last few years has really been me learning that is, as great as this technology is, for me to walk into Johnson County and talk about this, like, hey, we're gonna do it. But I come here, there's pushback because of the fact that, just as we mentioned, people use technology in a very basic form. So most of what I usually try to do is I try to break it down to where somebody, again, most people understand the sense, some semblance. It's me trying to have a conversation first, and also other educators, because I'm not one of the only people in this emerging tech space. We have to meet our people where they're at. Specifically, the older generation, the kids is more just exposing them to it. Because most kids, like I said, I've worked with Therese, she's brought me in for just AI workshops, we did AI agents. They understand now, it's like, oh, okay, this is just the things that we talk to on the video games. So it's not as far as an education for them, but with our older generation, it's how can they be able to understand in a practical sense? Because you're not gonna say, after a work day, you're probably not gonna go here. If you're gonna be honest, like, the average adult is not probably gonna go in here. But for an entrepreneur that's going into real estate or building or developing and those different type of things, how can I be able to partner with somebody that can help me understand this? Because as well, somebody mentioned it before, is that you can't do everything. This is like a whole nother lane that as a real estate person.
What I hear when you're saying that too, is the opportunity for those of us who are organizers to recognize that there's cross-organizational things that can happen, right?
Yes.
That it's multi-generational.
Yep.
It's multi-sectored in its educational levels. Like, I am not a techie, and I understand the system though, right? And as a person that's in between, I'm not young, but I'm not old. What are the ways in which we can all learn from one another? Because as a veteran educator, what I'm scared of, kudos to your daughter being able to put that ChatGPT and say, what can I do for this meal? I'm also clear about half of them came right.
Yep.
And thinking just because they can put something in ChatGPT that it needs to be published.
You don't learn it.
You know what I mean? And so what are the ways in which we can effectively in our communities, because we are so behind, do all of these types of advancements socially, educationally, academically, a lot of different things. My mind is bursting right now.
Rich, let me address that. Dr. Diana Clemens is probably the revolutionary person to answer your question on that. She's been in the metaverse and the integration of headsets in metaverse to the point to where she has been contracted to work most rural counties, especially that's CLEMONS. She's in the Kansas City USB 500 school district, has done extensive work with Crystal, with our mayor on this particular thing. Most rural counties through workforce development, I'm talking welding, HVAC, surgical tech, everything. They're using Rich's basic metaverse, but they're using headsets for the immersive quality. So you're actually dealing with a body, you got these headsets on, you know, you got your handles, and you're actually doing surgery. You're actually doing a building. So the integration using software as a solution, SaaS, to answer your question more directly, the integration of SaaS will take you any road that your money can get you to. But the integration to what Rich has here is the headsets, because it gives you the heavy contract.
Like the virtual reality.
Yes, the heavy, the augmented and the virtual reality. And you know, you could, whatever your money can afford, it can take you down whatever road you want to get to. So that's where the workforce development is, the integration of the headset. And then you have the immersive, to where you have the technical globe. Like you said, you walking through the ruins, this whole room can be converted to the ruins, and then you have these agents or what the characters that walk through. It could be Malcolm X on this wall, Harriet Tubman on this wall, and then you get that immersive experience. So it's whatever you can afford through headsets, global technology, but what Rich is presenting is the basics of where you start in the SaaS, software as a solution.
Yep. Then we got one here.
Well, what I was gonna say is, basically, I was gonna touch on that, yes. My company just bought the headsets for the USB 500 to do that, and all that career exploration is happening in those headsets. But going back to the purpose of this meeting is the collaboration piece. I know I'm probably getting tired of me saying it, because I think I stood up and said it 3 times so far. But that's what this room is for. So we, as all these different organizations and silos work together, we can get that information out. Vernon Center does a program with our senior citizens on technology. They teach a class every week to those senior citizens, and it's a different group every Wednesday, right? So that information just can get to them with no problem, and that training can go there. We just need to come together from our different silos and put some little pieces together to work together and quit working in our silos.
So, real quick, let me explain why we came together about this. Is because we see an opportunity for QPAD to have a virtual community where investors can see us. They can see us for real. We can walk in there with this virtual community and get investments. We can walk in this virtual community and historically, we can build out when we do the community center, the Peace and Urban Arts Center, the part of the museum can host these type of things. The way we're gonna get to learning this is by using it. So one of the first things that Rich and I have talked about is the hackathon, where we're working with you to help us build this out in order for, and then architects. We have architects in the room. Where'd she go? Oh, there she is. And others who can help build out. But we're telling you where we're moving to. This is where we're moving to, okay? Because we're listening to you guys and we're listening to what's coming. So we have to be prepared for it. So if that explains how, and so our first effort is to do a hackathon and start building this out, but we can only do it with you because we're gonna be putting it in there, what you're doing, okay?
I don't wanna rehash what was already said. So, my name is Shelley Coulter. I'm with what am I with? Groundworks. NRG now. Also have a hat at KCKPS, Family Community Engagement. But we started the virtual reality in middle school. First, we brought it over, and I say we because it was a company outside that we partnered with Boys and Girls Club. It's called Next Gen. And so we had this type of scope for our kids to start early on and understanding their career pathways. So the virtual reality headsets literally have advanced. When we first started in 2023, we only had 12 different career pathways. Now we have 30 plus different career pathways, which you can continue to create. And it is good that you talked about the silo and being not able to come in as a collective and a collaboration, because that's where we're missing the piece. We're starting now in middle school, but we can go to grade school. The middle schoolers, we have 3, Carly Bruce, Gloria Willis, and Rosedale Middle School. Rosedale didn't have any connection with Boys and Girls Club, and now we pay for the transportation. Not Groundworks, but a grant that I put in last year and got $150,000 to do a pilot. Guess what? They gave me another $150,000 to do another pilot because it worked. So if we can all come together in our different, even in our neighborhood associations, then this is a step towards the reality of our community being more engaged, more making sure that we are technology savvy. I'm 62. I don't want to know what they're doing, but I have to be educated. As long as we can breathe, we'll be educated. So, I mean, I just wanted to add to what everybody was saying and make sure that it's in a full circle, that just not one silo is saying that everyone is agreeing upon this.
So we have some more.
Go ahead.
We're actually, gonna share some more things that are going on within the technology space. So I don't think we have clearly been able to say to you, hey, the documents that you have on your table, when it comes to QCAD, is how we are formed. And this is a community effort of how we're formed, and we're presenting it to you. So take a look at that. Community is at the top. It's an upside down situation, triangle, but the community is at the top, okay? And everything else supports the community. One thing that when you're a Peace and Arts District, we're just administratively handling whatever you guys are telling us that needs to be done. Okay, so if you say, we wanna start working on this together and we wanna partner, then you just contact us and we'll partner, get you partnered up, or contact that person, but we're going to help within the critical issues to make sure that we keep moving and driving. moving and driving, that's what my job is, with Gateway Regional Council and Boston Daniels and QPAC. I'm a pusher. I'm gonna help you find the information, I'm gonna help you find the gap, I'm gonna help you, understand your space, and I'm gonna help you educate yourself on how to be better, okay? But another thing that we're doing is Karen has already, we're working with a team of interns, all over the nation who have come together to do a community first act for our organization, for our community. On this act, we're gonna show you a map that we're putting up, which identifies all neighborhood organizations, all NDRs, all communities throughout the Northwest community, okay? And in that map, you will have the ability to click on, touch it, and click on, and find out what's going on in that community. It's gonna provide information that you're saying you need more. So we've gathered the information that we've gotten from previous community engagements, and we put that forward to this team for them to come back. We're gonna beta test it with you guys, everybody in the community, to see if this is what we're needing. We're looking at making sure that it is culturally conscious, meaning that it can adapt to other languages. We're making sure that we are informing people of events and things like that. But these are the requests that people have said. If there's gonna be a committee meeting around things, then that's what we're gonna be doing. So those are two of the technologies that we're bringing forward for the community. Karen, did you wanna say anything about it?
No, keep going, you're doing well.
Keep going. We only have a little minute. So, so the other movements that we're doing, Craig, would you like to?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just thoughts on decision making. I think that, one, I think we all aware that we live in a system that's been going on for quite some time. And I think in so many instances, I've heard how we are trying to bump the system a little bit. But then also on the other side, we have to recognize that we do have to leverage the system, because I don't know if anybody got dollars in here, but at some point, we're gonna have to have large dollars to do the things that we're doing. And so to do that, I feel like that we need to recognize how decisions are actually being made for us that we don't know. One, there's an entity called the Mid-American Regional Council. They survey our city, our zip codes through the census data. How many people in here actually take the census? How many people know that your programs fully take the census 100%? And so that gap of data that does not come through the census, that is what Mid-American Regional Council is using for their data and their research. And with that data and research, that is where the Greater Kansas City Chamber goes, that is where the state goes, that is where the foundations go, to be able to get their data to be able to submit for federal grants and so forth and so on. And so one of those things that they do is called the Centralized Economic Development Plan. And that is a 10-year plan on how our city is gonna grow when it comes to aging, when it comes to environmentals, and they already can see how our population is gonna be. And then other programs use that data, and that is how they start mapping out what their impacts are gonna be. If we are not aligning ourselves with that plan, we are gonna be doing all of this for naught. And we have to understand, even within those things that are up there, those are probably can be combined in 4 different or 5 different sectors that I think Boston Daniels need to be aware of. So then as we need to do health work or family work, it goes up under human services, and we're building out that structure. So then that way we can speak to those things that's gonna allow us to be able to have the information and the resources that we need. The same thing with the UG. You have to go there with data, you have to go there with the impact in order to do it. If we're just doing it off of feelings, then it's gonna be hard for us to get things moved. And so I think for me, it's like, as we think about these things that we're doing, how are we sectoring them in a way that is compatible to other data sets of how people are measuring things, and then we'll be able to speak the same language that everybody else is.
I also think, Craig, that we should look at that there are other census projects that are very intentionally include us, like the Black Census Project, because people they don't trust giving their information to the United States.
But that's the thing about that though, is the Black Census does not get the government data, does not get the government resources. So we can pour all of our data into one thing, but if that one thing is not getting the resources.
And I'm saying having a parallel.
I agree, oh, yeah, agree, yeah, I agree.
Well, one thing we definitely know is we definitely need data. We need data from this community. So we need to talk about how that looks and how we get that information. I know that we're challenged with, and most of you probably are, we're challenged with people answering the questions and sending back the forms and things like that, like even today. That's why I keep on saying, fill out the survey, fill out the survey. It makes a difference to the grants that we write and the grants that other people write. So when you go to their meetings, fill out their surveys, so that we can start pulling in our own data around our own people, so that we'll know what's going on in real time. So we host a meeting every month, the third Friday of every month at 6 p.m. online and sometimes in person. So I want you to be there. We have another person who wants to do an announcement in the back with the Vernon Center 2.0. All
right, so my name is Rosalind, and I am actually trying to pull this up on the screen as well. Thank you. So, we actually, the Vernon Center is located at 3436 North. So we are located at 3436 North 27th Street. It's basically on the grounds of the Twin Barrel Underground Railroad. And in the Vernon Center, they have daily programming that takes place for the senior citizens. The Adopt 2.0 program is rolled out there. And so what the Adopt 2.0 program is, the Department of Commerce has granted us money, like resources, to basically bridge the technological divide. And so I have put these flyers out on the table for you guys to go back to your community events and explain to the persons that are there that they need to apply to become part of the program. We contact them, schedule them so that they can come to classes. What the classes do is allow for you to have access to an iPad. It's a loaner program. The loaner program right now is scheduled to go from September the 30th of this year. We fully expect that it's going to be extended. However, with government, things have happened. So we have several devices that we're responsible for passing out. At this point, we have run into some resistance within the community because people don't trust the process. For those who have come through our program, we have 90% satisfaction. They understand that this is a device that they can use in their daily lives, and basically it helps them to be able to book those doctor's appointments or keep track of dates that they have on a daily basis. So my job as the lead trainer is to educate people. I have them come in, they complete a survey, and they tell me how they need to be able to, how they can be assisted, what training they need. A lot of them just want basic understanding of how to use an iPad. How do we transfer our information from our phone to something that I can actually read? We have people who are learning disabled, they have disabilities. We help them to be able to use the technology that's out there. We connect them to resources in the community. So we run the classes right now. They're running every Wednesday and Friday. They run from 1 to 3, and then from 4 to 6. Classes are contingent upon enrollment, so you know the government's not going to pay us if we only have 2 people in class. So our class is subject to be canceled on Fridays, but generally we hold our classes. If the people come, we're there to service them. And then once they receive the iPad, we have continuing classes. On the Vernon site, they can go in and learn at their own pace, or they can continue to come to our classes and we teach them how to use the iPad. You know, some of them want to learn how to record sermons when they go to church, or they want to be able to move their skill set that they had 10 years ago and make it current. So that's our job with the Burden Center. And so I just ask for you all to be, conscious of that in your, churches or community, programming. Make sure to let them know that this program is out there. If we, the government has trusted us with this project, and we're trying to make sure that we push these resources out into the community. And again, the resources are provided to us. We collect the data for them so that we can say there is a need. But if we're not able to take the money that they've already trusted us and put it into the community, what happens next, right? It goes back. And then the next time they're looking at the communities, Wyandotte County, Johnson County, we're not using our money, so they're gonna say Wyandotte County doesn't need it. Okay? That's all I wanted to,
So what is it?
actually, this program, we're servicing and, targeting seniors. However, because the kids are getting these in school, we're targeting our seniors, and seniors, people are not aware, a senior could be 45 years old. If you have a disability, if you, I'm just saying, AARP says 55. So, you know,
I've already done the class.
I was gonna say, Corey,
I already did the class.
So, you know, and again, once you come through our class, we support you, we continue to support you. If you can't come in person, you can do it virtually online. And, we call to follow up, to see what other services you're in need of, because we never know what we're gonna get when you come through the door. Any questions?
There's flyers for that in the front.
So what she's saying is they have these, and they need to pass them out.
Yes.
So as we are collaborating together in this room and working together and not in our silos, this amazing silo over here is asking for us to help get people to their program so they can get these out.
Program, we have to do the first part, we just get them out.
Yes.
And never show there's a need.
And think about it from a strategic way, if you are doing some type of class, or if you are doing like a workshop, a financial workshop, call them in to be a partner so they can, and if you don't have a computer, come in here, and like, that's the way that we can kind of collaborate.
We actually have been going to some of the churches in the community.
Yes,
And-
I was gonna say.
Yes, we have, and we've had great success. The oldest person that has attended our class was 101, what's she? 101. Love our honors. We had a 90-year-old, she was so spicy, I love it, because the mind is the sharp, it's so sharp, and we don't wanna neglect that wealth of knowledge that's there, and we want them to be able to continue to be productive citizens in our community. Okay?
We're silo breakers. We are breaking all silos. We're telling everybody to come together, let's work together. I wanna just really quickly say, the information that I passed out for you, man, read it over. Understand what we're trying to do, and that is to break silos, that is to address critical issues, that is to work for you, okay? The next thing that you'll see is the CID plus CRT, the Community Investment, Development. CID is a Community Improvement District, okay? So our goal is to get that passed with the, unified government, that we become a CID. Now, Quindaro Peace and Arts District is a district. We exist. We are here. We branded it. We're gonna show you a map of how wide it was. I don't know if you people know, if everybody knows, Quindaro used to be much bigger than what it is now. Do y'all know that?
Yes.
So we have it on the map. Olivia Moore is helping us to, pull this out. So the Quindaro Peace and Arts District goes from Fairfax, and we're looking at it to go all the way out to 47th Street. We're gonna be talking to Eric more about that, because Eric's been a part of our team too, and he's helped us work on a lot of things. And, Steve Hooks, even though he's getting up trying to sneak out, he's also a part of our team that we've been working with. Billy and Eric are also a part of our team that's gonna help us with designing our economic development master plan, okay? And Marvin Lyman is coming together with us. So those are the things we're doing. We're getting the CID, and the CRT. The CRT is how we're gonna manage the funds that are coming in. Those funds are gonna be managed by a board that you decide on, okay? Because this funding that's coming in is gonna go toward the projects that we're deciding we need to have them done. UG is not gonna be the decision maker on what we're doing. Just like Rich said, we're kind of moving on. We're not waiting on permission, we're gonna ask for forgiveness later, okay? But we've got to get some things done. It can be done. It took a lot to get the Boston Daniels part through, but since we've been through it, we done learned some tricks of the trade, okay? So let's look at the map real quick.
Yeah, so I'll explain this a little bit. Olivia Moore is the one that pulled this together, so I feel bad taking away her ability to talk about this, but essentially, this is built just to show the different layers of different, like, I guess, breakdown of groups and incentives and things that are impacting this area. This is not built out fully, so please, this is something this is the first iteration and we're growing, so this is not trying to show who's not included on this yet. This is just an invitation to view and then we can add to it. But there's multi-layers here, so I'm gonna start at the top. We have the historic city of Condero. It's here. Here's an initial look at what the Condero Peace and Arts District is in this exact area. Might shift a little bit based on just the evolution of conversations. And
That's basically 47th Street, for those who can't see it. So 47th Street would be about the end there, all the way to the.
Is it Quindaro?
Nope. Yep.
And,
That's right.
that's actually state.
Let me zoom in.
It's actually Washington, and then it jumps over to state.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Washington here.
So from, basically, if you want a rectangle of state to the river, and then 47 to Missouri, or somewhere, right?
And then we also have, so within that, what's the breakdown of the commission districts? Here's the various MBRs, or excuse me, the two different MBR functions in there. We also have the neighborhood groups and that, the general geography that they cover. Again, this might not be completely accurate, this is in the works, so if you're representing different organizations, like definitely let's talk so that this feels accurate.
I'm big on education. What is
Yeah.
NBR and what do they do?
Neighborhood
Oh, do you want to go?
business revitalization.
Say it again?
Neighborhood business revitalization.
And what do they do?
So they really help to, build out the community as far as economics are concerned and other projects within the, area and, support the neighborhood organizations that are within the area, the northeast area. We actually just went after the NPR, several of us this year. And so we're still waiting on the decision, but what we have said as leaders, and we're definitely gonna be working together, whoever gets the NPR.
Who decides this? Who decides?
God is deciding.
Amen.
I don't know who decides.
We don't know.
There's
who decides.
a review committee.
Is that another NPR in the back of the room?
Yeah.
We have another NPR in the back of the room.
So what are the
Downtown
NPR?
shareholders.
Well, I know what I'm doing now. But, you know, we do, I think to be an official NPR, I think a major thing is you get support from the UG. And so that's what matters for me is that we get UG support and there's a true partnership there. So that's what's been important for me to make sure that I have this tied to UG support, financial support, where as far as resources support, and so to be officially an NPR, I think that's the biggest part for me, because you can be a group and you can be a community, and you can have all these ideas, but then where do you go to get resources, alignment, tie-in, stuff like that, and make sure that the UG is on board and supporting our plans and giving us resources. And so you're a step above just being a community group that's organizing. You got all these great ideas
say that is because I want everybody in this room to understand that those MBRs are out there and they exist. And if you don't know who they are as community organizations, you need to find out who they are, because you need to make them accountable as well, because they are the lifeline to the UG, as she said. Okay?
So I just wanna go back to my language a little bit of what I was talking about earlier. We can't posture ourselves as if we can't ask for permission if the way that we get things done is through the MBR and the resources that's coming through to the UG. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how do we create that balance? One, I do understand, like, we gotta make things happen for ourselves, but it sounds like the way to make things happen for ourselves is to partner with the UG.
Yes and no.
I think both can be true.
Yes.
I think you diversify your options.
Okay, so diversify your financial options, right?
Well, diversify your partnership options as well.
Partnerships who have money.
Or resources, or, you know, or leadership or power, or, you know, whatever it is that you're looking.
All of that is connected to money. There is no way that you can redevelop a home.
Right, without money.
Without money.
Yes.
Right?
I agree with you, but I think that, I'm going back to my statement, that's why QPAD is here, because if we all come together to put because maybe I don't have the funds, and you have the funds.
I ain't got no money.
I'm just.
But money follows a plan. And that's what we're doing as QPAD. We are helping bring a plan forward. QPAD is that plan.
A
We're
plan to do
becoming
what?
The QPAD is a plan to make us be one and show that we have a plan to move forward to do the CID, the CRT, and any other economic development plan that we need, or program, or anything. Because Karen has the ability to go up and all the time, even before MBR. We know that we gotta go talk to them about certain things. But certain things, like we didn't ask for permission to become Quindaro Peace and Arts District.
I don't think you have that, I don't think you have to have permission to be an entity, but I think that, like, for Boston Daniels, did you guys have to engage with the UG for things for Boston Daniels?
Yeah.
So like you have to engage with them, so like, I just wanted to be careful with how we posture ourselves in saying, we're gonna do it without, you know what I'm saying, regard, because when it comes down to it, we kinda need them to be able to do things the right way.
But we're structured around transparency, communication, and all of the things that you're talking about. So
All
we
those
always-
things, I'm sorry, all those things are tied to emotion. When you are talking about economic development, those are governmental terms, and so they have to be tied to the system. I just wanted.
Well, I'm just coming to you from the standpoint, we have to take a stance. And our stance is, we're gonna be transparent with them. Like, we go to UG for everything. I talk to them about everything. Do we work together on everything? No. We give them a chance to do what they're gonna do, but we believe them the first time. There are other avenues of the economic resources that we can go after. This right here, a district, we can go after investors as long as we have a economic plan and a master plan and how we're gonna do it. And
Those
we can go
investors have
after-
to talk to the UG. If you, Eric is prime example of the Midtown Station. Eric, I'm sorry.
My name is Bennett, and I ain't in it.
I love you to death. But Eric is everybody knows who Eric is. Everybody in this room believes in Eric, right? But Eric and the UG don't see eye to eye.
But Eric has us, and Eric knows he has us, and we're pushing for him. And with us as a group of people, we can possibly push him over that line.
I'm trying to get away from possibly, and then us
We
being
can't
able to.
guarantee, we can't guarantee it, but you gotta still get up and do it. We had opposition with Boston Daniels coming in the door. We had NBR, the NBR, that was our NBR, not supporting us at all.
Mhm.
At all, and we got through it. We're gonna get
That's
through
true.
it.
And then for Boston Daniels, we are built on the heritage trail. So when you talk about emotions, a lot of people's emotions is that we have a history here. when we build economically on top of the Heritage Trail, Boston Daniels is number 13 on the trail. When you pull up to Boston Daniels, you're not just seeing a sign, you're seeing $1.2 million worth of investment. When you go to Parkwood Pool, which was what we're working on next, it's also a part of the Heritage Trail. We're not gonna, you're not just gonna pull up and see a sign, you're gonna see real economic, and that's what people wanna see. And the Heritage Trail and the different historic sites on the Heritage Trail is all of us. It's something that all of us want.
Also, what I'm hearing, but I think this is an important point for clarification. Craig, I know you and I know your work. I know some of the things that you do. You tend to be, and it's very data centered, it's very, all the ways in which we go through. Also, like Karen, not only working in Kansas City, I think is really paralyzed us in this region is that we think we need white people to do stuff. And what I'm saying is we don't. I have been in other places that move through that it is not that we do not want partners that are community partners and allies and work for us. What I'm saying is we don't always have to do that. And people do it all the time, all across this country. And we are still stuck thinking, oh my gosh, if they don't like me, if I don't talk right, if I don't do this right, then we're not gonna be able to get this done. I think we have to balance both of that kind of, yes, we want our data to be right. We want all the ways in which we're doing this in a logical, scientific, kind of very strategic way to be right. I also want us to know that sometimes even when we have all of that right, they still don't let us move through.
I don't care
so
about
what are the
white
ways?
people. Yeah, I wasn't talking about white people, I'm talking about the UG.
But to me, and that's what I'm saying, because it's not only, when I say white people, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about this demographic, right? And I'm talking about this system. And I'm talking about ways in which oftentimes black people and other marginalized people support these systems. So what are the ways in which we recognize if we're not trying to do this at a multi-tiered space, in ramping in all the ways that we need to ramp? I don't care how much, I'm a cusser, I don't do a lot, but I was going to say, I don't care how much data we got, it's still not going to be this way. So, what are the ways in which we can do all of that right, transparently, with all of that emotion, and still recognize there are ways to, there are multiple ways to the road to
I hate to say this, but right, we were going to get there, but due to time is not, because our last section was the call to action, which is where we could actually start to create the plan. So my goal and objective wasn't for us to create a plan and start to put it into action, because that's where we have to go.
Now, let me say this, the vision that we've already put out there, because this is not new. We've been out here putting out the CID, the CRT, the fact that we need to be a Cordero Peace and Arts District, or to solidify that. We've been putting that out into the community. We need you to read it. The only reason why we're putting it out in the community is because it's what was given to us by you, okay? You said you needed an economic tool that would allow for us to grow and not cause displacement. We researched that, we talked to subject matter experts, we talked to several people. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have Billy get up here and talk about it. And he's one of our experts that we've talked to about this, informing this, and then we come back to you guys and we're giving it to you so you can now come back to us and say, well, this is or this won't work.
Hey, everybody, Craig, I don't know you, I'll meet you today. I'm Billy. So the thing about how this works is just so clarity. I understand what you're saying, but there's no how-to with this. This is where rooms like this, community come together. You guys have to, we have to forge what we want for the community. They have guidelines, they have principles, they have rules, they have standards. We have to operate within those, but there's no how-to. And when you go in there, if you don't have your own how-to crafted, then they will send you in different directions, spin you around, do all these different things. But it takes rooms like this where you have what you call shareholders, community input, people that have desires, expectations, wants, and needs that have to come together to create the how-to. And so I understand what you're saying again. the processes, the how they require it, this and that, yes, they are the dictators of structure, but you have to create your own kind of how-to of how you want to see your community. It doesn't, they will not give you, they will not set it up for you, they won't, it doesn't work like it. So you have to have these rooms, you have to get in here, get together with people that are in different facets of different things within the community, whether it's development, whether it's construction, whatever the, human needs are, things of that nature, but it takes this, and this is the process. You don't, again, they will not give it to you how it's supposed to be done. In fact, if you don't forge it, when you go there, then they'll know. So this is very critical to have this, but it does operate within a standard. They have, I'm pretty sure that the UG has probably a 25-year plan, a 20-year plan, or something of that nature that you can go and look at, and they'll tell you kind of what their ideas are, this and that. Typically, that refers to resources. That resorts to things like infrastructure planning and things of that nature. But when it comes to your community, how you want it to look, this is what it takes. So you have to have this, and it has to be based on your own expectations.
I just wanted to say a more specific example of that might be the two projects that I was wanted to, the data center project and the battery project that are proposed in the Northeast. It'll probably be in the Economic Development Committee next month. And the question to ask, when those are coming in, they're doing so much harm that we need to just say no to them. But after that, how much leverage, how much control of it, and where does the money that we can get out of them to allow them to have the conditional use permit passed in the Economic Development Committee, where's that money gonna go? Oh, well, now it can go here, because this is here, but that kind of leverage, is something that the data center projects those projects are kind of running out on the need to organize beforehand.
I completely understand that. 3 years ago, for the centralized economic development plan, critical materials and batteries was a part of the plan that was supposed to happen this year. So it makes sense that your projects went through because they were already aware of those industries coming down. That's how those plans work. And I agree with you that we have to come up with our own plan for our neighborhood. But like you said, there are standards and policies that they set that we have to set them in. Those standards and policies have language and ways that you have to approach them. And if we are saying we're gonna build this and we're not formulating into the way that allows them to do so, if I am the commissioner and I agree that the UG plan for Quindaro needs to be like this, and then Quindaro comes to me with a plan that is completely opposite of what I created, you're not including my input, and y'all the ones who voted for me. So there has to be some type of relationship or a Switzerland of some sort where we all can come in and say, yes, we both understand each perspectives. Yes, we both have two different plans. How do we meet together? If one person comes in there and says, I'm not gonna move off of what I did, then nothing is going to happen. And that's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and so let me explain that real quick, because we're not doing that. We're going in, and if we're working with the councilmen and the commissioners to say, what are the regulations? We look at the regulations. The only time we want to change it is if it's not equitable, if it's not sustainable, then we talk to them about that. We don't just go in, oh, we taking it in mind. No, it's etiquette to this.
And that was my first piece though, because the only thing that I'm saying is we have to be careful how we posture ourselves. If we say we're gonna come up with our own plan or we're gonna do it without anybody else, we all can know what that really means, but somebody who's only here for half of the meeting, when they leave, they can go out and say, that group don't care what the UG got going on. So all I'm saying is let's be mindful of the language that we use when we say we're gonna do something so that we can be aware of what those impacts will be. I'm not saying that QPAD is not gonna do it, I'm not saying that Groundworks is not gonna do it, I'm just saying, let's just be mindful, that's it.
Oh, go ahead, Eric.
Yes, first off, loved ones, I apologize for being late. I fully intended to be here all day. I'll tell you in just a second why I wasn't here, because I want everybody to leave knowing this. Y'all know I can get long-winded, so I'm gonna try to do this in 2 minutes. As being a candidate, it's been nice. They only give me 2 minutes, and I gotta cram a lot of stuff in. So first off, let me back up. Thank you, Ms. Sherry, Ms. Karen Daniels, Corey, the QPAD team, the work that you all have been doing and everybody in this room has been doing to bring us all together. Like, let's just take a moment. Let's take a moment to recognize that. Because you've already built the coalition. I remember seeing your first QPAD document had 50 folks' names on it. Even some folks that are influential like Matt right here had signed up to say, I support this project, so you've done that. Step one was the proof of concept to get Boston Daniels done. That is the community infrastructure that now exists. That park is beautiful, it's amazing, it's accessible. You did, to Craig's point, have to work through the UG, Angel Ferrara, Parks and Rec to get that funded and everything, but you guys stuck to it and you did it. Now though, the area around it, what happens next, right? And I think obviously there are times when I feel like this government will help us out just enough to then gentrify us out of our own neighborhoods. Now that that beautiful infrastructure is there, my comment to Karen was, you need to go grab all of those land bank lots. You need to be thinking about, so I think the next step is the Boston Daniels, the center. To Craig's point, we do need to go capitalize that. You're both right in the sense that there are things that we can do without permission. We shouldn't look at it as permission. This is our government, it's supposed to work for us. So maybe that's the nomenclature change, that we don't look at this as permission. But everybody in this room is doing something that doesn't require approval or a cosign from the UG. From Commissioner Howard, mowing lawns, Tamara and I were out there doing, Pastor Roberson was with us, we're doing community cleanups. There's a ton of stuff that we can do without needing anybody's anything, right? Then you do get to that level though, where you need a land bank lot. You gotta go through Judd and Sutton. If you're in our case, you mentioned Indian Springs. We need a whole lot of things there. The issue that we have is until we unite as a community like you're doing in this room, and we go to this government together, and to Craig's point say, we have a plan, we have a pro forma, we've identified where capital might come from. This idea that developers have all of their capital stack figured out is bogus. Every single developer, the biggest, richest, whitest developers I know, go get the site under contract first and then figure out their capital stack. So we cannot be held to this double standard, but you need a plan, you need a pro forma, you need capital sources, you need a market study that suggests that that is all viable, and then you need site control, and at some point you are going to need a government that is engaging and partnering with you, whatever that means. We would love for the unified government to do that the easy way, to acknowledge our genius and our community. Sometimes we have to do that the hard way, which is we all come together and we lock arms and we go do it. So I appreciate y'all doing that work. The sad reality and the reason I missed today is dysfunction is real around here. Yes. When we started the Indian Springs project 3 years ago, it was run by Gunnar Hand. We fiddle-farted with him for 6 months and then he disappeared. Then it was run by David Johnston.
Came over to Kansas City.
What's up, Billy? Good to see you, man. Then David Johnston resigned a couple of weeks ago. Our economic development director is no longer around. We are now on our third administrative change. We are going back before the standing committee. The standing committee tried to kill the project last month. We are going back before that standing committee on Monday night. I do not want to be the boy that cried wolf, so I do not want all of you to come to that meeting. Here's what I would ask. Alan Howes, the county administrator, has told me that that is going to be a perfunctory scheduling meeting. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. If you guys want to log into the Zoom, that's like the low stress way to do it. We are first on the agenda, so log into the Zoom. That way, if one of the commissioners opens it up, you'll be there ready to comment. But the goal is to bring that project back before a more public forum in September. So that's the update there. It is not dead. Perseverance is the name of the game, and I told y'all they're going to have to drag me off the site. They're going to have to drag me off the site. Last thing, very important. All of you need to vote, okay? We are seeing the results of political advocacy. The Vernon Center got a $1.5 million grant because we all locked arms and went to the state and said, you need to put money in our community, right? Congressman Cleaver on the Missouri side, Billy knows this, allocated $80 million of funding to all kinds of stuff like this. Wyandotte County has never had that advocacy, and until we show up to vote, we will not get that kind of attention. So even if you don't vote for me, I need you to show up and vote either way, right? Write in your own name on the ballot for all I care, but show up to vote because that's how we get political power. That's why I missed this morning. There is an issue at our election office. At 2 o'clock, I'm having a press conference with the Kansas Democratic Party and the ACLU. If anybody mailed in their ballot it is possible that it got lost in the mail. The election commissioner, who has one job to run an election, put the wrong address on the return envelope.
By design.
So if you mailed in your ballot, go to the election office and complete a provisional. If you know anyone who mailed in their ballot, tell them to go to the election office and complete a provisional. Here's the good news. The good news is Wyandotte County's voter turnout is tracking ahead of the state average right now. They mailed out 3,000 ballots. They've gotten about 1,500 of them back. We're tracking close to 50%. Statewide average is 46. So Wyandotte County is showing up. But again, those other 1,500 ballots, we do not know where they are in the mail. So if you mailed a ballot, go to the office and do a provisional. And tell your friends, stop mailing ballots. Drop it in the ballot box or drop it off in person. That's it. I'm sorry, that was more than my 2 minutes. See, that's why they usually put the stop sign up and kick me out.
It's all right.
It was good.
Okay.
It's all right. Good job, Eric. And so we definitely are gonna have a follow-up meeting, because the things that you all want is to start to put action into play, right? In order to do that, all of our different silos that are in this room need to start working together, putting our brains together, our mindset together to create that plan. And we didn't have time to do that today. But we will build the shared community action agenda, because we want to move forward with what you all say our community needs, right? If it's the data centers and figuring out how to stop those and do whatever, that's it. But we want us all to come together collaboratively, pick our top 3 topics or priorities and create that plan and move forward with that. So then we have an army behind our top 3 priorities. That goes back to what Mr. Craig was saying. We're not necessarily trying to get around the policy and all that stuff, but we have to organize and we have to focus and prioritize on some things and take baby steps. Like when she wanted to get that park done, she focused wholeheartedly on that park. Now the park's done, so we're gonna take another step and move over to Parkwood. You can't accomplish everything all at once, y'all. But if we come together all together and focus on a few topics one at a time, we can go in and, excuse my language, kick some ass.
And that was 7 years.
Right. Well, we're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna move faster than 7 years.
But 7 years is a completion, right?
Yeah.
So you're going
I would just encourage folks, if you haven't already read it, the Northeast Area Master Plan was done with community organization for 4 priorities in 2018. Hundreds of residents in the Northeast area participated. It was at the Quindera Community Center. Out of that playbook, there have been projects that have proceeded, one of which just learned the Northeast grocery store was purchased last, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Congratulations. So Groundwork Energy is moving forward on that plan. It takes work. I want to highlight, because one of the comments about gentrification came up, Groundwork Energy buried within the Heritage Trail the best, and I mean best, anti-displacement scorecard for the Northeast, led by the Northeast, that is in a 150-page document. It allocates what our neighborhood should see when developers come to town. You need to invest in our trails, our infrastructure, our schools, our education, our food systems. All of that was developed. Very few people talk about it because not enough people know about it. But I'm sharing this because there's been a lot of this planning work that's already been done. What we are lacking to, I think, a lot of the points is the capital and the investment to go implement it, which is why I appreciate what Karen Daniels did so much to build a park. You saw the vision, you got it built. That's what we were lacking a lot of. So I would encourage y'all to not go too far back and see what the community's priorities were only about 8 years ago. Some of it's changed, some of it needs to be updated, some of it might be out of date. Totally agree with that. However, we are still lacking the implementation, and that's always been that issue in the Northeast area. We have vision, but at those meetings, I remember a resident coming up to me and saying, "You're talking about a grocery store, you've been talking about it for 30 effing years. Let's get something built." I encourage everybody to just look at those documents.
I have it on my website.
NortheastKCK.org has the Northeast Area Master Plan and the Heritage Trail, which includes the anti-displacement scorecard, and that scorecard alone is brilliant. I'm just going to share that. It's the best thing I've seen.
And it'll take you on a tour.
Well, what I would suggest strongly, and I'm just gonna put it out there, is that you and whoever else are the, I don't wanna say mastermind behind that plan, come to the table. So we can all work together on that, because evidently the plan was there and whoever was working on the plan is not progressing the plan. But if we all come together, maybe we can help that plan progress, because I'll be honest, I've never seen it. And I'll be honest with you. So I would strongly suggest whoever is over that plan, come to our table.
So the plan was, it was actually planned, the master plan. That's when the original founders, one of the original founders for Groundworks, well, was Northeast Historical Association. So she came to the table, Ms. Jefferson. She came to the table.
She
And
created
was
the
part of
plan?
it. She was part of that master plan.
Okay.
So that master plan has not been pushed out because we don't communicate. So all of us have been in silos. This has been something that we are able to go and find on our own, but there are, where we don't communicate, it's not one person's perspective, it's all of our perspectives.
Right.
And so when you're, again, wording does make a difference. So at 10 years old, I was going to City Hall, before the UG, where my father was showing me the plans. So
40 years out.
that came from home, that he was educated, he was the first black firefighter in Wyandotte County. Again, it's because it was coming from home. Now we have the master plan. I didn't know about the master plan because my father's deceased now, but he would have told me about that master plan.
Right.
So now we do know about it, what are we gonna do about it?
So that's why I said what I said.
Yeah, but I understand that, but we also have to look at how people are receiving us. At the UG, it's all about trust. It's about who they know, okay, and I get it. But also, how do we change that narrative? We can continue to talk about its wording, it's the way we present ourselves, but again, there are things that we need, and in spaces like this, we got a lot of voices. But we also have to learn our own learning style, how we hear it, how we execute it. Because I'm hearing you, I see it. We might have this room full now, it might be 4 of us next time. Because, again, we're not consistent, we're building on what is on sand, some sinking sand, and we gotta make some solid foundations. So, I get what we're saying here, I wanna be a part of it. I'm new, I'm 9 weeks in, y'all, but I am a lifetimer of Wyandotte County. I'm embedded, born, raised. And so I wanna be educated, but again, the delivery of our messages and how we present ourselves is gonna make a difference. Regardless if it's the UG, I'm an organic grower. So that means that when I get social capital in, that I hang on to them, because wherever I go, they're gonna invest. I can't continue to lean on grants. I gotta make sure that it's organically and sustainable. So that's it, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make clear, I hear you.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I really want people to understand, we've been doing this
For a long time.
a long time. But QPAD has been in existence for 2 years. You guys developed it. The people who were in the room at that time, Eric was probably one of the people, it's a lot of different people who, I know Steve was early in the room. And so we just kept having meetings. We were always constantly one person would show up. Here, one person, here's the information, what are your thoughts? We didn't care how many people came in the room, but we have been consistently hosting meetings for the last 2 years. Matt and them have been consistently hosting meetings. We invited y'all because y'all are the leaders of the people that are out here, y'all are consistently meeting with, so we're asking you, hey, how are we doing? How are you doing? How can we help? How can we join together? We're definitely gonna be working with, the young man that just left to do research. I'm bad with names, Craig. We're definitely gonna be working we already work with, Matt. We're gonna be working with everybody who needs support. So it's not a new thing, everybody. This has been going on for 2 years. We've been looking, listening, and this is what has come about, okay?
And I wanna say in closing, I wanna respect everybody's time. We said this was gonna be over at 1, it's a little past 1. There's a few people extra that came in after lunch. This young lady here, she's with Arts KC. Rashida, what's your last name?
Phillips.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, so happy to join you all. Sorry I was late. I'm Rashida Phillips. I'm VP of Community Impact at Arts KC, which is our regional arts council that we work with to advocate. We work with programming, funding, And so we're working on both sides of the state, as always, a full region to help support the arts, to help support culture, and help support community. So I'll be over a set of programs and services, and some of that will definitely influence this area. And I look forward to working with you all to make it happen.
Who else came in?
She wanted to speak for a minute.
Yeah, I'll try to keep this brief. Hello, everybody. My name's Corinne. I manage the KCK Farmers Market. We just moved to 1739 Quindera Boulevard. We host a bi-weekly market, so we pop up 2 times a month. We have 3 produce vendors. One of those produce vendors has meat and eggs, all at very affordable prices. We're like bringing food to a food desert area.
What days?
We are open on Saturdays. I hope everybody got one of these little cards. This is a $5 coupon. So please, come check us out. You get $5 to spend. And then I also have like a flyer with all the dates on it. 1739 Quindero. We support SNAP, Double Up Food Bucks, the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program, and then we also have the University of Kansas Health Systems that comes and does free blood pressure checks and gives $10 in coupons to spend. We have some events coming up. National Farmers Market Week is August 2nd through the 8th. We will be celebrating the installation of our new permanent sign structure at the location. You can go drive by now and see it. It looks so beautiful. I'm very excited about that. And we're also, for National Farmers Market Week, hoping to collect some survey responses for raffle tickets. On August 8th, we're going to be drawing for a raffle. To get a raffle entry, we're accepting survey responses. The survey will help us to get the community's input. So hopefully we can make some improvements to the location of our market. We want to get the parking lot repaved. We want to add some shading structures, some seating, and just make it a third space for people to come and enjoy even when we're not there. On August 21st, we're having our Art and Ag Fest. That is a Friday, and it will be hosted with the Third Friday Art Walk that happens. So we'll be there. We'll have an art auction. So we'll have art displayed that is along the themes with that which sustains us. And last thing I want to say is come out to support the farmers market. It's a source for food that is made here, locally produced here, locally grown here, isn't affected by all the diseases that are currently running through the global supply chains right now. The lettuce that you get from your farmers market will not give you diarrhea. And it's an opportunity to support the small businesses that are here in Wyandotte County. If our goal here is to revitalize the businesses that are here in Wyandotte County, we have to show up to support them. We have to spend our dollars with them and not with Walmart, because the dollars that we spend in Walmart don't stay in this community. But if we spend our dollars with our local producers and suppliers that grow and the food here to serve our community, then that dollar will also stay in the community and support the people here. So that is all I have to say. I'll also mention I do host a free mindful movement class. It's a chair yoga class for seniors. It's at the library. It's on Monday mornings at 11 a.m. From now through October. And I have some flyers if anybody's interested.
Is it downtown library or West Library?
The main library on Minnesota.
And First Lady Carolyn Vaughn with Evangelistic Center, could you please say hello? And Matt is here, he spoke, but yes, brother-in-law Bernard, he has what do you say?
One quick thing, I want to piggyback what you said. I think our messaging is important, right? And you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. There are times when people, because this is such an emotional issue, and I'm willing to give them candor, there are times when that comes across as hostile. I think, to your point, we should leave this, and Matt and I, we talked about this when Mayor Watson was elected. Our mantra, it's a new day in KCK. This administration, this government now works for us. We are united, we are uplifting each other, we are expecting good things to happen in this community. You know, those types of messages. Here's the last thing I want to leave you with. The most important role in this government is open right this second, okay? Everyone should be engaged. It's not the mayor, it's not the commission, it's not the staff. The only person who actually interfaces those things is the county administrator, and we have an interim county administrator right now. Over the next 6 months, there will be a new county administrator selected or appointed. Make sure you follow that process, okay? Encourage your commissioners. That's a decades level job. If we bring in someone with the right mentality, the right mindset, we could go fix BPU, we could fix UG, we could fix all of that. Conversely, if that person has the wrong mindset, they sell BPU, they give the chiefs our money, and it goes wrong. So I think it is key that we all make sure that we are engaged in that. Okay, I'm sorry, Ms. Karen, back to you.
Can your campaign manager please say hello?
Oh, hi, I'm Melissa. I'm Eric's oldest daughter.
And campaign manager?
And campaign manager.
You're doing an excellent job.
Did you want to say something, Bernard?
One thing I forgot to mention is if you are available on August the 8th at 9 a.m., we're partnering with Mayor Watson to do an opportunity walk down Minnesota. There's a lot of vacant buildings down Minnesota that can be filled with thriving small businesses, pop-ups, etc. And then there are some small businesses on Minnesota. We want to stop in and celebrate and appreciate them and bring awareness to them. So take a walk with us on August 8th, 9 a.m. We'll start at the main library, 9 a.m. And so that is on our Downtown Shareholders social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.
Thank you for introducing me, Karen, but I am also here because of I Care KC, which is a foundation that is geared toward youth, especially underserved and their families as well. And we are located right across from Boston Dance Park, 2210 North 8th Street, which is the community complex. And right now we are trying our best to do get funding, and so that we can get the building up to par, so that we can open it up for our programming for teens and youth and their families. But the building can house, I mean, it has so much potential for a lot of other community-based, so that's why I'm here.
And I know Mayor Watson had mentioned, that we have a problem with homeless teens. And if we can find we need a facility that can house homeless teens. So that's an issue that people might want to address. Yes, Bernard, brother Love?
Yes, my name is Bernard Love, and in listening to everybody, there's one thing that I would just like to express. We all in this room may understand the rules and how to play the game. But in order for us to be successful as a community, we're going to have to educate those that are not in this room about the rules of the game. And not think that, hey, the only rule is what you're going to give them. And even if you want something given to you, you still have to understand the rules about how to get it. And I think that's our biggest shortcoming. We don't have an apparatus to educate the community, to educate the links in the chain, if you will.
Okay, thank you. So let me let you guys know what Boston Daniels doing before you leave. Our next event is August 29th. We're hosting a gala for Ed Dwight, the first Black astronaut, who is a famous sculptor now, and he's doing the life-size monument of Boston Daniels. And so we're excited about that. We want to honor him, and we hope that you all can buy tickets. You can buy your ticket on Eventbrite, but we will send follow-up information to everyone that attended on your emails. We'll email everyone. So,
And you also a record of Bishop Ward.
I'm sorry?
He's a graduate of Bishop Ward.
He was a great, see, we need you there.
I wrote a whole article on him in 2015.
Oh,
The proudest moment of my life.
So put that on our calendars, Saturday, August 29th. What time?
6 p.m.
How do we sign up?
We're gonna send you an email, but
Okay.
it's gonna be on Eventbrite.
Okay.
Check it on Eventbrite.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for attending, we love you. Don't forget the survey.
I got some completed here.
And NAACP is having their Freedom Fund Day for October 3rd.
And I ran outside my cards, but they hasn't.
I'm so glad you came and stayed. Steve stayed and you stayed. Thank you. This is my sister.
How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Good, okay. So I know your grandson there.
Cameron?
Yeah, so Cameron, so my daughter's going in, she's signing your case.
Ken, I'm gonna head out.
She's soccer.
Absolutely.
And I know all the kids are signing your case. Couple from my guys,
And then Missouri.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you, yes, but we want to make sure he gets what he needs to get that degree.
My daughter will be able to.
That's good. I'm glad to see more of us.